Joining us today. My name is Susan Bunsold Wilson, and I'm one of the directors of the Sing-Sations. The Sing-Sations is Union County's community choir, and there are two women responsible for founding it. Mrs. Dee Winters on the piano, and Mrs. Marion Carson, who is in the audience somewhere. Without them starting it 16 years ago, we would not be here presenting this concert to you. So we owe so much to those two ladies for starting it. The members, the original members, originally it was for the Bicentennial of Ohio, and they said, we don't want to stop singing, and they didn't, and we're lucky that they did not. Our next piece is It Shining Still, and we have Sarah Johnson on the flute.
With its dazzling light.
The Shepherd's Chorus, I'd like to say a few words about the large piece of work that it's from, Amal and the Night Visitors, which incidentally, we will be performing later this month with some local professional soloists and out-of-towners, Cabot Ray, who was the former Channel 4 anchor, and Kiana Willis, who is a professor at Otterbein College. Amal was written by John Carlo Menotti and was commissioned in 1951 by NBC for the debut of their Hallmark Hall of Fame television series. Some of you may have even seen it broadcast live for the first time. The story is about a poor crippled shepherd boy named Amal and his mother. One night, they are visited by the three kings who are on their way to visit the baby Jesus. Amal is asked to gather the shepherds, who are standing behind me, and to bring them to visit the kings.
Shepherd, shepherdess, who's calling, who's calling? Emily, Michael, Bartholomew, how are your children and how are your sheep? Dorothy, Peter, Evangeline, give me your hand, come along with me. All the children have mumps, all the flocks are asleep. We are going with them all, bringing gifts to the kings. Benjamin, Lucas, Elizabeth, how are your children and how are your sheep? Carolyn, Matthew, Veronica, give me your hand, come along with me. How cold is the night? How icy the wind? Oh, be very tight. Oh, how warm is your cloak? Catherine, Christopher, Pamela, how are your children and how are your sheep? Josephine, Angela, Jeremy, roll with me.
In the next section, the shepherds arrive at Amal's house and bring food and gifts for the kings. The kings are grateful, but bid goodnight as they must sleep for their long journey the next day. We have one of the kings with us. David Wilson is playing the king Balthazar, and Amal, played by Teddy Wilson, asks the king if he has anything to help cure a crippled boy.
Olives and quinces, apples and raisins, nutmeg and myrtle, peppers and chestnuts. This is all we shepherds can offer you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you kindly, thank you, thank you, thank you kindly too.
Citrons and lemons, musk and pomegranates, goat cheese and walnuts, figs and cucumbers. This is all we shepherds can offer you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you kindly, thank you, thank you, thank you kindly too.
Hazelnuts and chamomile, mignonette and laurel, honeycombs and cinnamon, thyme and garlic. This is all we shepherds can offer you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you kindly, thank you, thank you, thank you kindly too.
Take them, eat them, you are welcome. Take them, eat them, you are welcome too.
Thank you, good friends, for your dances and your gifts. But now we must bid you good night. We have little time for sleep, and a long journey ahead.
My good kings,
you're a crippled boy. Never mind. Good night.
Good night, good night, good night. Sunset will be bright. Good night, good night, good night.
Before the kings leave, a miracle occurs, and I won't spoil it. You'll have to come see the production to find out what it was. The shepherds end the production with a beautiful lilting lullaby as they see the night turn into the dawn.
Shepherds, arise. Come, O shepherds, from outside the stars have fled shepherds from outside. Stars have fled
We have just one song before our intermission, and you're going to help us out with it. It's a sing-along of a couple Christmas carols that I think most of you know by heart. At intermission, we have concessions in the conference room that help support the program, the scholarship program, Distinguished Young Women, and we hope you purchase some concessions. There were red buckets, as you saw coming in. Those are donation buckets. We like to offer free concerts for those who can't afford to be here. If you can afford to give just a little bit, we don't make money, we just offset the cost of putting on a production and help hopefully get some funds to do a show next year and entertain you then as well. So we have O Come All Ye Faithful, followed right by Angels We Have Heard on High, and we want to hear you singing with us.
Come and worship. Come and worship. Worship Christ the newborn King. sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? Say what may the tidings be, which inspire your merry song. Gloria in excelsis Deo. In excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see Him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Sing Gloria in excelsis
Hey, remember me last year from Scrooge? I'm happy to report my heart is still filled with Christmas cheer, and with that, I'll be narrating us through the second half of our show. A Charlie Brown Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, are just a few of the timeless holiday television specials that used to bring a smile to our heart and a warm spot also to our heart. You waited all year long to catch them on TV, and as a kid, you knew you were one step closer to Christmas. On December 9th, 1965, A Charlie Brown Christmas made its debut on CBS. Peanuts was a worldwide phenomenon, and so this special was commissioned and sponsored by the Coca-Cola Company. In casting, the producers made an unconventional choice. They hired young actors. Then they used a jazz score by pianist Vince Girardi. It ends up winning both a Peabody and an Emmy Award. Our production will feature Marysville's own Vince Girardi, Dee Winters, along with, in our group, Sarah Johnson and Jake Irwin, and a whole cast of clap for them too, a whole cast of young Peanuts characters. Good grief, it's a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Do
wrong with me, Linus. I just don't understand Christmas, I guess. I mean, I like sending Christmas cards and getting gifts and decorating trees and all that, but I'm still not happy. I don't feel the way that I'm supposed to feel.
Charlie Brown is the only person I know to take a wonderful season like Christmas and turn it into a problem. Maybe Lucy is right. Of all the Charlie Browns in the world, you are the Charlie Brownest.
I know how you feel about all this Christmas business. Getting depressed and all that, it happens to me every year. I never get what I really want. I always get lots of silly toys or a bicycle or clothes or something like that.
What is it that you want?
Real estate.
Try to catch snowflakes with your tongue, Sally. It's fun. It's too early. They need sugar. I never eat December snowflakes. I always wait until January. They sure look right to me. Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer. Fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes in the air. Carols everywhere. Old and tired and ancient rhymes of love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air. Beauty everywhere. News are by the fireside and little memories there. Christmas time is here. We'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the years. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the years. This is the music I selected for the Christmas play.
What kind of Christmas music is that?
Beethoven Christmas music.
What has Beethoven got to do with Christmas? Everyone talks about how great Beethoven was. Beethoven wasn't so great.
What do you mean Beethoven wasn't so great?
He never got his picture on bubblegum cards, did he? Have you ever seen his picture on a bubblegum card? How can you say someone is great who's never had his picture on bubblegum cards? Say, by the way, can you play Jingle Bells? No. I mean Jingle Bells. You know, deck them halls and all that stuff. No, you don't get it at all. I mean Jingle Bells. You know, Santa Claus and ho 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 and mistletoe and presents too. Pretty girls. That's it! Hey, Charlie Brown, how would you like to be the director of our Christmas play?
Me? The director of a Christmas play?
Sure, Charlie Brown. We need a director and union involvement. We've got a shepherd, musicians, animals, everyone you need. We've even got a Christmas queen.
But I don't know anything about directing a Christmas play.
Don't worry, I'll be there to help. Meet us at the auditorium and get us a tree for our play too.
Oh, Christmas tree, your branches green delight us. Oh, Christmas tree, your branches green delight us.
little green one looks like it needs a home.
I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit the modern spirit.
It'll be fine. We'll decorate it. It'll be just right for our Christmas play.
All right, everyone, places, we've got a show to start. Music, please. Cut. What kind of tree is that?
You were supposed to get a good tree, Chuck.
Can't you even tell a good tree from a poor tree? I told you he'd goof it up.
He's not the kind of person you can depend on to do anything right.
I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little old tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And they're in the same country, shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you, ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, and lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill towards men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
Linus is right. I won't let all this commercialism ruin my Christmas. I'll take this tree home and decorate it, and I'll show them it really will be right for a Christmas play. First prize? Oh well, this commercial dog isn't gonna ruin my Christmas. Oh no, I've killed it! Everything I touch gets ruined.
I never thought it was such a bad little tree. It's not that bad, really. Maybe it just needs a little love.
Charlie Brown is a blockhead, but he did get a nice tree.
I think they like them better than you. No doubt. I've been there. Of all the versions of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the most well-known was the stop-motion TV special that made its premiere on December 6, 1964. It was sponsored by General Electric and featured the Johnny Marks hit song. Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass had only this song to work with as source material, so they had to create an entirely new story about Rudolph and his friends. There was a dentist named Hermie, a prospector named Yukon Cornelius, and Clarice, a doe and childhood friend of Rudolph. This Rudolph is the longest continuing running television Christmas special to date. Our tribute will feature sensational sensation dancers, 2 troops of tap dancers from the Academy Dance Studio, and John and Kathy Chapman, along with songs such as Silver and Gold and Holly Jolly Christmas. But first, we have one rather sassy, glowing-nosed reindeer, and it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer has a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game.
Silver and gold with Golden Kathy and silver hair John. I think they deserve one more round of applause. A Holly Jolly Christmas. Yes, this is also from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and yes, this was also written by Johnny Marks, and of course most famously done by Burl Ives. Our Holly Jolly Christmas is choreographed by Miriam Carson and features the Sing-Sation dancers, along with 2 special guest stars, tap dancers from the Academy Dance Studio, Lucy Wilson and Lydia Gillian, followed by us dashing and dancing and prancing once more into Rudolph, but this time with a twist. This time, it's choreographed by Ashley Schwinn and involves some somewhat older tap dancers also from the Academy Dance Studio. Let's have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
Holly jolly, holly, holly jolly. Holly jolly, holly, holly jolly.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Holly jolly,
It's the best time of the year.
holly, holly jolly.
I don't know
Holly jolly,
but have a
holly jolly,
cheer.
On December 18th, 1966, Chuck Jones co-produced and directed a television special based on the Dr. Seuss classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Featuring Boris Karloff as both the narrator and the Grinch, this became another perennial holiday favorite. Today you can catch the Grinch as a full-length motion picture or a stage production. Our production features Tim Allen as the Grinch, David Wilson on vocals, and a whole host of Who's from down in Whoville. This is how the Grinch stole Christmas.
All the Who's down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Oh, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
It could be perhaps his shoes were too tight. Or maybe his head. Or maybe his head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think that the best reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39 1/2 foot pole.
For 53 years, I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Then the Grinch got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
I know just what I'll do. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. All I need now is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found.
Did that stop the Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
So he called his dog Max, and he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head.
You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The 3 words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote: stink, stank, stunk. You nauseate me, Mr. Grinch, with a nausea super nos. You're a crooked, jerky jockey, and you drive a crooked horse, Mr. Grinch. You're a 3-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce.
All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care.
He came to the first little house in the square. It was stop number 1, the Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fists.
As the Grinch took the Who's tree he started to shove, he heard a small sound like a coo of a dove. He turned around fast and saw a small who. Little Cindy Lou Who was no more than 2.
She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking a Christmas tree? Why?
But do you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick that he thought up a lie and he thought it up quick?
Why, my sweet little tot,
The fake Santa Claus lied.
there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'll take it back to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, and I'll bring it back here.
And as Fib fooled the child, he patted her head, he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed.
And when Cindy Lou Who was in bed with her cup, he crept to the chimney and stuck the tree up.
Then he went up the chimney himself, the liar. The last thing he took was a log from the fire.
On that walls he left nothing but hooks and some wine.
And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then the Grinch heard something he hadn't heard before.
Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all.
The Grinch hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
Cheer to all who's far and near. Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp. Welcome Christmas while we stand, heart to heart and hand in hand.
Better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He's making a list, checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake.
Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake.
Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.